Hello, everyone, and welcome to Optimus Fantasy Football. It's week 16, Keith. Well, almost. Technically, it's still week 15. We've got one more game to go tonight to round up the week, but it's almost the semifinals, the fantasy football playoffs. First of all, I can't believe this is week 16 that we've been talking together on camera in one form or another. It's flown by. Like, this is crazy, right?
Yeah, it is. It's been not as good of a DFS year as I'd like, just because of last year was very successful. But man, it's been tough. And then man, my fantasy football leagues this year were even worse. And I love two teams that missed the playoffs by either a game or a few points. Of course, in both of those leagues, they scored the most points of any team in the league first week of the playoffs. And I'm like, oh yeah, peaking just at the right time.
I have two teams that have bye weeks this week, and they're both the highest scoring team in the league.
That's a good thing.
I hope so. I hope my team didn't use up all of its juice before the playoffs. That would be a bummer.
Oh, you worried they're going to have rust after the week off?
I hope not, man. Yeah. Well, guys, we're going to get to the waiver wire here in just a minute, but I want to remind everyone, if you've got questions that we don't cover here, you missed the show, you're not able to comment live, you're listening to the audio version, head over to our Discord server. The link is in the show description, and it is always free, folks. We are talking football 24/7, 365. And now as we're getting out of redraft season, it's really important to make sure you're paying attention to those dynasty rosters. If your team is out of the playoffs, it's time to start making moves. We can help you with that. So head on over to our Discord server and then check out tools.optimusfantasy.com with the code GIFTOptimus. You can get all the way through the Super Bowl for free. That is February 10th on us. Check out our DFS optimizer. Check out our betting tool. If you are out of the fantasy playoffs, there's plenty of other things to do to keep yourself busy. All right, Keith, without further ado, let's move on to the waiver wire wide receivers. I'm sorry. Good God.
Whoops.
16 weeks of doing this, and I am getting tired. These are our top three waiver quarterbacks this week. Jacoby, Brissett, Tyler Shough, and Kirk Cousins. I know. Kirk Cousins, Keith. I know. But I wrote about him in our waiver wire article. He's playing decent. He's had one really bad game, right?
Yeah.
Last week, he had 4.5 fantasy points. That one was a stinker, but he played really well last week. And if you look at the schedule going forward, it's not that hard for Kirk Cousins, at least not this week against Arizona, where I feel like he can actually be somewhat fantasy relevant. He is kind of a flyer guy here. The ones I do want to talk about for sure, Jacoby Brissett. He's Mr. Automatic. People were worried about him. They were benching him against Houston. They didn't need to. He threw 3 touchdowns. Right? Like, is there anything more automatic than Jacoby Brissett right now? As far as like what you can get on the waiver wire at quarterback, you know what you're getting.
Yeah, I think now that Jackson Dart is, I guess, in enough leagues to where it doesn't matter. I will say the other guy, too, that's probably out there would be Marcus Mariota. They're kind of all, extensions of each other. I mean, you say that, but Mariota, again, I think had, 15, 16 points last week. Like, he's going to get you that 15 points every single week. Brissett's going to get you 20. And I think depending on the quarterback, what they do tonight, I believe he's at QB 11 or 12 right now for the week. He would be the first quarterback all season to be a QB1 versus the Texans. So that in itself is quite the accomplishment. And the best thing about, Arizona and Brissett is their defense is absolutely terrible. So they're going to be down and they're going to be throwing. I mean, if you look at it, I know just because I roster McBride in almost every league that the first half looks usually pretty rough. And you're like, man, why did I, go with this guy and go with Arizona players again? And then the second half, they get cooking in garbage time. So he's about as safe gets. I mean, I think he's, probably a top 10 QB rest of the season. I mean, hell, you might make an argument he's top 5. Oh, muted, buddy.
You can say the same about Tyler Shough, though, Keith. He's been that guy over the last 3-4 weeks. I'm pulling it up here. I wrote about him in the waiver wire article as well. Since week 13, he's QB 8 in fantasy points per game, 16 or 19.6, right? He's had really good games. He's starting to run more often. this offense is trash, but the way that Tyler Shough is progressing, I really do think, like, if you're a New Orleans Saints fan, you have to have a little bit of hope. Like, okay, all right, maybe we have a quarterback at least to bridge us for the next couple of seasons till we can get a solid first round rookie, get them developed. Tyler Shuck's good enough.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say legally anything nice about any New Orleans Saints players. It's just being a Falcons fan, but he's a lot better than I definitely thought he was. And then the big thing for me, I've made this transition a few years ago. The rushing's huge. I mean, what is it? 22 4 weeks ago, 18 3 weeks ago, 55 last week, and 22 this week, or excuse me, 32 this week. That's 3 points. You can't beat that.
He has 105 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns over his last 3 games. Using his legs makes him viable. Honorable mention is going to be Trevor Lawrence. He's the best quarterback on this list. The thing is he's not widely available like he has been the last few weeks. He's around 55% rostered on Sleeper and on ESPN. So if he's available, he is definitely the one you should get. He's playing phenomenally. Jacksonville is looking really good, but he's probably not available. Out of these 3 guys, all 3 are available. You're going Brissett, correct?
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I think I might even go Brissett over Lawrence if he's available, just because Brissett has been so steady to where Lawrence, I know he's been steady too as of late, but I mean, I think Brissett's now at 8 straight weeks of 20 points or more. I mean, that's just like, that's stuff only like Lamar and Allen, those kind of guys do.
He has 2 or more passing touchdowns in every game he's started, except for 1 against Jacksonville. He only had 1. That's the only game he doesn't have multiple passing touchdowns. Yeah. No, it's got to be Brissett for me. If you can't get Brissett, I'm fine with Tyler Shough. Rest of season, you can roll him out week 16 and week 17 as well as Brissett. Kirk Cousins, you can't play week 17. They're playing the Rams. He's going to get obliterated. That game is going to be so out of hand, so fast. They might as well just run Tyler Algier most of the game. All right, Keith, let's move on to these running backs. This is where it gets dicey. Hopefully, because this is the fantasy playoffs, you're rolling with the team that got you here. We really hope you don't need to go get any of these waiver wire players, but we're here to help you if you need them. The number 1 guy you want to get this week, it's Jalen Wright. Yes, he's a handcuff to Devaughn Achane, but I think he's going to end up being more than that. What can Miami do other than run the ball? Honestly.
Well, I mean, they've adjusted to where that's who they are. I mean, to their credit, McDaniels made that adjustment after, I think, 2 or 3 weeks into the Tyreek Hill. And you look now, all of a sudden, what are they, 6 and 7? 6, 7. They could end up, with 1 more win being 500. So I think McDaniels has done a great job. And to your point, they're gonna pound the rock. And Achane, I think they've already been eliminated from the playoffs, right? So my main concern would be, if I'm a Miami fan and coach, is we want Devaughn Achane locked and loaded for next year. And at his size and stuff, I wouldn't be giving him like an insanely high, workload.
Okay, they have not been eliminated. There is a fringe chance that they could still make the playoffs.
That'd be amazing.
They're 6 and 7. It would be amazing. They're 6 and 7. Baltimore 7 and 7. Indy's 8 and 6. Houston's 9 and 5. They need to get up and pass Indy and Baltimore to get to that 8th spot. And the thing is, their defense has been really good too. So it's not, if they win out, I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Tampa Bay, New England. No,
that's not impossible though, because New England may not have anything to play for the last week.
Right? Yeah,
that's the toughest of those 4 matchups.
Sure. All right. What about Michael Carter? Bam Knight on and off. Then he's hurt. Michael Carter had a decent game. The thing is, I don't like this run game. I don't want to be attached to this run game in Arizona if I don't have to be. Right. I understand if you do have to be. He had 18 carries for 51 yards and a touchdown week 5 against Tennessee. 14 for 56 last week. He didn't score a touchdown. That was just more of a Bam Knight's not here, so we're going to run him. Do you think that happens again this week?
I mean, you got Knight getting injured. The fact that Carter saw 78% of the backfield carry share, which I believe Ryan Heath shared this today. Really good follow on Twitter. That's the highest of any Cardinals running back since James Carter, and his next 2 weeks are pretty dang good. You mentioned my Falcons, who are not good against the run, and the Cincinnati Bengals, who are also not good against the
Not
run.
good.
So if
Yep.
you are looking for a desperation play, like this is it. It's a combination of opportunity and matchup. You can't ask for much more when you're digging in the garbage.
Yep. Jawhar Jordan, anything to his little mini sort of kind of breakout yesterday?
The only thing that scares me there is it seemed like that's your traditional like early late split with I can't even pronounce the dude's name. What is it? Ugabawal or however you say it. The backup he was at.
Ogunbowale.
Yeah, he was in for all
Dario
the
Ogunbowale.
passing, catching downs and stuff. Actually, the guy you don't have on this list that I can't believe we're back here, but our boy Bill Merritt, who don't look now. If Chris Rodriguez is out, dude, the schedule rest away for the Commanders is fantastic. Philly, Dallas, Philly, 3 of the worst run defenses in the NFL. Same thing for Chris Rodriguez. If it looks like he's cleared to come back. I know nobody wants any of those defenses. I get it. It's gross. But if you look, Washington had a brutal schedule of running backs from, here it is, week 8 through week 13. They faced basically nothing but top 10 run defenses. They have, obviously the Giants, a very easy one. We saw Bill Merritt have a very good game. And then again, Philly, Dallas are 2 of the worst defenses, and that's their schedule rest away. So you can do a lot worse than whoever ends up being that starting back. So be sure to pay attention to the news coming out of, the Commanders coaching staff and meetings this week.
Sure. Well, and then part of it for me too is that he's fairly widely rostered. You're going to have a
Still?
hard time in most.
Is he really?
He's almost 50% rostered in sleepers.
Wow.
He's 50% rostered in ESPN. So he's just not a guy who's wide. Right. He's just not a guy who's widely available. If he is available in your league, obviously you go get him, but I just wasn't going to talk about him for that reason.
I can't believe he's that high owned still. That is nuts.
Yeah. The only way, look, if you've got Woody Marks, you're heavily relying on Woody Marks, I would go out and get Jawhar Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I just don't know that he's going to do anything. Like, you really have to be without Woody Marks for him to have any volume. Great handcuff, but that's all he really is.
They have a really good matchup this week, and then a really difficult matchup for what would be the championship week. Mm-hmm. But Vegas, we saw.
Yeah,
I think they're already on vacation. So,
yep. Malik Davis in Dallas. I'm sorry, he gets an honorable mention. If Javonte Williams. Good God. We were talking about Jamal Williams in the company chat earlier. If Javonte Williams misses any time, I like Malik Davis as a plug-in if you absolutely have to over these next 2 weeks. And then Ameer Abdullah. Look, Phillip Rivers is starting again. I don't know if you saw that.
PPR leagues.
In PPR leagues, yeah.
Yep.
He led the team in targets, receptions, and receiving yards, which isn't saying much with Phillip Rivers there, but
you say that
it is.
Rivers, none of his passes went more than 5, or I think 2 of his passes went more than 5 air yards. And I don't know if Indy's going to be able to be in the game all the way through in the upcoming weeks. So to your point, if they get down, you could see seriously weeks where he sees 8 to 10 targets.
Yeah. Oh, I could see it. Like that Chase Brown week where he saw what was 15, 18 targets, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, real quick. I want to get some of these comments we've got in the chat, Keith. We've got Alf sucks at mock drafts. A generational T-Law game didn't even matter for me. Bucky, Diggs, Warren, and McPherson did a whole lot of nothing. Yeah, I'd been pumping McPherson. This just seemed like a situation where McPherson was just going to continue to see volume with Broback. Didn't happen. Dolphins' miracle path would be this, Keith. 9 things. Dolphins beat the Steelers, Bengals, Bucks, Patriots. Texans lose to the Raiders, Chargers, Colts. Colts lose to the 49ers, Jaguars, and beat the Texans.
I immediately think of Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance. There's always a chance unless you're mathematically eliminated. We've got this one from Juan Pena Official on YouTube. Going to the second round, who for my wide receiver 1, 2, 3, and flex spot? So we need 4 guys out of this list. Mike Evans, Devontae Adams, Jordan Addison, Deebo Samuel, Jacoby Myers, Kayshon Boutte, Quentin Johnston. Then at running back, we can pick these for the flex. Zach Charbonnet, Emmanuel Wilson, Trevion Henderson, Josh Jacobs, and Jonathan Taylor. Then at RB1 and 2, tight end Kittle. Oh, so they've got Jacobs and Taylor at RB1 and 2, and then tight end is Kittle. Okay, so here's what I would do for those 3 wide receiver spots.
Adams looks like he's going to miss some time too. So
Yep.
I don't know if you're going to have that option.
Jacoby Myers, Jordan Addison, Mike Evans. Those
Mike Evans only needs like 605 yards to hit 1,000 again. So we can pretty much lock that up. So he'll have 300 this week and then 310 next. You said Addison, Evans, and Deebo. Is that what you said?
I said Addison, Evans, and Jacoby Myers. I take that back because they're playing Denver this weekend. Never mind. Give me Deebo Samuel.
I'm sorry, I missed Myers. I might still actually go with Myers. I know it's a tough matchup, but him being in the slot, and we've seen with like teams like, Drake London, for instance, they moved him around to where he still got huge volume and had a big game. And because who's Washington playing this week? Do you even know?
I've got the schedule pulled up right here. The Commanders are playing Philly on Saturday in Washington.
Yes, see, that's not a great matchup either. I think you're right. I think I would go with Myers.
You think so? Even against Denver?
I mean, Philly's got good secondary too. And it's just, I trust Trevor Lawrence a whole lot more than I do Marcus Mariota right now. And I don't know how you can sit Trevion Henderson.
You can't. I was going to get to that. Yeah, he's the flex. It's Trevion Henderson. You can't sit him. On waivers, he's choosing between Adonai Mitchell, Jawhar Jordan, Tutu Atwell, Devaughn Vele. I'm going to go either Vele or Mitchell. I'd put in bids for both of those guys, see which one you get. Jawhar Jordan, like we just talked about, he's a handcuff, and Tutu Atwell plays with Cam Ward. So no thank you, please. He's mini strides, not enough.
It's fair. It's just the way he said it. It's very fair.
Jonathan Santiago, he's using tonight's game to see if Darren Waller gets any more usage. If not, he's going to pivot to either Colby Parkinson or Juwan Johnson this week. Pivot to Colby Parkinson. We're going to talk about him in a few.
The Adams injury, a lot of 13 personnel for the Los Angeles Rams for however long Adams is out.
Yep. We've got Tyler Sperry here. He wants to know Colston, Loveland, or Dalton Schultz this weekend. He's also got Bretton Strange and Isaiah Likely. And Gatson hasn't done much, which is fair. Which I don't think he's going to. Like that flash was nice. He'll be better next season when Justin Herbert's actually healthy and his team is healthy. They get Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt back. I'm rolling Dalton Schultz between these actually. Yeah, I'm going to go Dalton Schultz.
Wow. I think that I'm okay with, the Colston Loveland. He proved this week that even with Cole Kmet in the game, still caught 4 passes. That's 2 weeks in a row. I think that's now 4 out of the last 6. No, 5 out of the last 7. He's caught at least 3 passes in 7 straight. I just, Schultz had an amazing game. Don't get me wrong, he had 2 touchdowns and everything, but it just feels like Loveland continues to become more and more of this Chicago, passing game. And I just trust him slightly more. I will say, though, he has a tough matchup this week versus Green Bay, but Green Bay also, to remind people, just lost their best pass rusher, and he did have 4 catches for 30 yards and a touchdown when they met just a few weeks ago.
I don't have an issue with Colston Loveland either. I'm not starting Bretton Strange or Isaiah Likely, though. That's just not a route.
Boy, I won't ever start Isaiah Likely again after he really hurt my DFS lineups this last week. You play T-Law, and then you put Likely in there with him. That was pretty dumb.
All right, I want to get to this last one, and then we're going to move on to wide receivers. Guys, if I have not answered your question yet, we will get to them after the wide receivers and tight ends. I promise you. We just need to get on to these players here. Alio13 on Twitch. Hey, guys, is Jaylen Warren playing, or should I start the RB2? No, Jaylen Warren is playing. He is playing. That has been made official on the @news.optimusfantasy.com account over on Blue Sky. So make sure you are following them for all of the news. Carly Manger's running that, and it's coming out as it happens. So make sure you check that out. All right, let's move on to the wide receivers now, Keith. We've been pumping this guy for quite a while, Jalen Coker in Carolina. I'm surprised to see that he is still sub 30% rostered in fantasy leagues across the board. Luther Burden in Chicago, then Jayden Reed in Green Bay. Jayden Reed's back on our radar, very simply because Christian Watson is injured. We don't know how bad. But if Christian Watson misses some time, there could be something to Jayden Reed. To be clear, I'm not super excited about it. This is more of a
I don't trust
crap.
any Packers. They spread it around. You don't ever know who they're going to go to, and volume is king, and that's the problem with Green Bay. You can't get any guaranteed volume out of that group.
Right. Luther Burden, how do you feel about him after yesterday? Sans Romo Dunze, 6 catches for 84 yards.
I think that as much as I have tried to poo-poo it, he has really came on. The problem is he had the ankle, you know, and he said he's not sure. He's day to day. So because of that, you know, obviously I would much rather have Coker. But if the news comes out that Burden's okay, or you're just looking for depth for maybe potentially your championship game, I obviously like what I'm seeing from him. I know that a lot of people have been talking him up all year, and like I said, I just wasn't a believer. I'm seeing it now, especially in this Ben Johnson offense. He's going to be sort of a JMO for them, like that kind of vein.
Hopefully, it doesn't take him that long to break out, but he's had 6, 6, and 7 targets over the last 3 games. Before that, he had 2 straight games of 5 targets. So the work's there. I know I like to make jokes here. It's our last show of the season. We got to have some fun with it, right?
Man, 6-7 has been on fire tonight.
I can't stand it. I have an 8-year-old who says it all the time. 6-7, 6-7. Oh, okay.
It's like catnip for kids.
God, and it doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't mean anything, people. Jalen Coker, though, he really is the guy you want here. Look at his last handful of weeks. He was 4 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown last week. Then before the bye against the Rams, he had 4 catches for 74 yards and a touchdown. He's seeing an over 50% snap share over the last 8 weeks. He had an 80% snap share the week before the bye. This is real. Like, they figured out Jalen Coker's better than Xavier Legette finally, and they're treating it that way. God. Finally. He's the number 1 guy I want. On the honorable mentions, Jalen Nailor's interesting to me. And I'll maybe, if I need a wide receiver in the fantasy championships, I'll be willing to go after him. If you've got a bench spot, you're just looking to fill just to see what happens in case you need a guy next week. Jalen Nailor's not a bad option either. Apparently, JJ McCarthy likes him and likes to give him high value targets as he's apparently getting
he likes
better.
Him more than friggin' Jefferson. So
yeah, right. Well, that's Jordan Addison too. Jordan Addison's not widely available on waivers. Right. Jalen Nailor's only 4% rostered on Sleeper, but he had three catches, 2 touchdowns. Not necessarily going to be. I don't know. I can't rely on the 2 touchdowns. He's going to need a touchdown to score, but I think he's worth a look at least. And then Devaughn Vele in New Orleans.
Again, another guy that just make sure he is not going to miss time. They're saying potentially he could be out, but I'm a big fan. I thought that was a really I was surprised Denver let him go. He had some really good games last year, and he's just a monster, man. He is so big. And you know, I do. I'm a big fan, even though again, as a Falcons fan, I don't like saying nice things about New Orleans. And then AD Mitchell, man, I got to admit, Brady Cook in the second start looked a lot better than I thought he was going to. I thought it was a Bromer situation where because he looked, or Brosmer, he looked so bad. But in his defense, he didn't know he was going to start. You know, he came in cold. He looked a lot better. And I, said it all along, Mitchell can get open. So if you have somebody who can throw the ball down the field, which looks like Brady Cook can, he's got a chance. He's going to score some touchdowns.
12, 6, and 9 targets over his last 3 games. He's been above an 80% snap share in all 4 of them. So, and this isn't going away. The Jets aren't to be confused with a good team, but Garrett Wilson's not coming back at this point. They want to see what they have in Adonai Mitchell, and they're going to feed him. So, all right.
And like the Cardinals, defense sucks. They'll be down. They'll be throwing. So, all good things.
Yeah. Thank God. All right, well, let's do these tight ends here. We'll get to a couple more questions. We'll get the good people out of here and on their way to Monday Night Football. Colby Parkinson, we already kind of talked about him a little bit, but he's just seeing so much volume, and it's not going away in this offense at all. This past week, Colby Parkinson, 7 targets, 5 catches, 75 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He has scored a touchdown in 5 of their last 6 games, including his 2 last week. So he has 6 touchdowns over the last 6 weeks. He is the guy I want on this waiver wire.
Yeah, he actually led the Rams in routes run. Now, don't get me wrong. Part of that was, Adams went out. Puka had a little issue where he was knocked out for a little bit. But regardless, he led the Rams in routes run. And we're going to see a lot of that 13 personnel, which again, I actually think that if you're desperate, Terrence Ferguson's not a bad guy either, because they're going to be chucking it to the tight ends until Adams I wouldn't be surprised they hold Adams out to the playoffs. So I love Colby Parkinson though, man. He's the real deal. Stafford loves to target tight ends. He's a great play rest of the season.
Yeah, Ferguson makes me a little nervous. He's not holding the ball well. He's had a couple of drops, so I wonder if Stafford will shy away from him. But Colby Parkinson, man, just has been a monster since pretty much week 8, week 11. Yeah, he's just been insane. Colston Loveland, I like too. We talked about him already a little bit, but regardless of Cole Kmet, this is a team that's good. They're going to be in the playoffs. Colston Loveland has been a part of that. Caleb Williams is comfortable with him. Dawson Knox is the oddball on here. Not someone I expected to be bringing up in a waiver wire conversation. However, Buffalo can't trust their receivers, man, and you're seeing it constantly. And because of that, the last 4 weeks, 4 targets, 7 targets, and 4 targets. He had 3 catches and 2 touchdowns last week. Do I think he's going to replicate that volume? Absolutely not. But if you need a tight end, there is a floor here with Knox now, and it's right around 5 to 6 points. And you're not going to do better than that with some of these guys. If Parkinson, if Colston Loveland aren't available, Gunnar Helm, who is the honorable mention for tight ends this week, if he's not available, Dawson Knox is not a bad pickup.
No, not at all. And now has the touchdown record for Buffalo Bills tight ends. And this is a guy who didn't catch a touchdown pass in college. So it's amazing to see how things can change, man. But what a win by Buffalo. I just look out. I think that may have been the Josh Allen and that moment that Buffalo needed, because this is their chance. With the Chiefs officially being done, who knows if the Steelers win tonight, the Ravens are kind of on life support and make the playoffs. It's there for Allen and the Bills, and I definitely be rooting for them.
Yeah, I will too. I love Buffalo. I feel so bad. We grew up watching them lose 4 straight Super Bowls. So you can't help but hurt for them, right? All right, Keith, that does it for the tight ends, but we've got some questions I want to get to before we get out of here. Guys, if you're watching, you've got questions, drop them in the chat. We'll answer as many as we can before we get out of here. But if we don't get to them, make sure you check out our Discord server, folks. All right, here we are. Jonathan Santiago, Wandale, Tracy, Sutton need to start one of these 3 full PPR.
I'm going to have to say Tracy after seeing last week. It looks like that he has taken back over that Giants backfield. If you look what he did down the stretch last year, he was actually somebody that helped me in a couple of leagues. I just think that you're seeing they're no longer letting Dart run in the red zone. So that gives him more value. You saw he had the rushing touchdown in the red zone early in the game, and then he caught a touchdown pass, which, remember, this guy was a wide receiver in college. I just if you're going to get a back that catches passes too, I'm always going to take them in this situation, because both Sutton and Wandale are good options, don't get me wrong, but their volume is inconsistent week to week. They're both on teams that you don't really know where the ball is going.
Right. Well, yeah. And that does present an issue. And I'm going with Tracy as well. Everything that you said. Tyler Sperry over on YouTube. Pick one, Rams defense or Saints defense. Which way are you going here?
Who do the Saints play? I'm sorry.
Jets.
I think I'd go with Saints.
Yeah, I'm going Saints. Rams play Seattle. It's going to be a shootout. All right, we have got this one from Tyler Sperry. Rashee Rice might be cooked without Mahomes. Oh, I don't know. We're going to see.
I don't think so at all. He's somebody that he is not like, for some reason, people think Rashee Rice is a down the field target. He's not. That's part of the reason that the Chiefs have had so many struggles this year is they thought Worthy was going to be that guy. He's not been. Rice is somebody who is great yards after the catch. You see they throw a lot of screens, short passes to him. And Gardner Minshew in a slump, like some, schmuck or something. Like I actually think Rashee Rice will be fine. And even more important, they're going to throw even more because they don't have Mahomes to, pick up those, rushing first downs. And we know Kansas City just flat out can't run the ball. So I actually expect them to just let Gardner cook and do what Gardner does.
Oh, that's exactly what I was going to say. And Gardner Minshew, if he has a good week next week, this week against Denver, I might look at him for the fantasy championships.
They made the playoffs. Colts made the playoffs with them just 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, exactly. He's not a slouch. All right, we got another one from Tyler Sperry. Mike Evans, Reed, or Rice?
Wait a minute.
So I'm assuming Mike Evans. I'm assuming Mike
Evans.
Gotcha. Probably didn't mean to be there. So we go Mike Evans. I'm probably going to go Mike Evans.
Yeah, I'd have to go Evans. I would love to know who your other receivers are, though, because there's not many, teams that I can think of where I'm not going to start both Rashee Rice and Mike Evans most weeks. But if I am, just asked to pick from these three, I would go with Evans, especially because we saw last week, he's such a beast, man. Didn't play for 2 months and just comes back and just right where he picked off, man.
The fire of 1,000 suns. Let's get it. 49706 on YouTube. Fellas, Marks was fragile as glass for me. Luckily, Hindi and the Bears D saved me. Going into round 2 playoffs, would y'all start Kyren Williams and Hindi benching Marks? Also, Myers and BTJ good starting again. Yes, you're Kyren and Henderson. Even if Woody Marks is healthy, I'm still not starting him over either one of those guys down the stretch here.
Yeah, quit doubting Kyren Williams, people. Like every time we doubt him, he goes out and does what he did Sunday.
Yep. And Blake Corum got his too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Myers and BTJ rest of the way. Little tentative about BTJ still, but if Parker Washington's out, I'm fine with it. But Jacoby Myers, I'm starting the rest of the way.
Yeah, Myers is an automatic start. I mean, he is honestly been one of the best 15, I think, receivers in the league since his second week in Jacksonville. I know his first game didn't do much. BTJ, I'd have to see your roster, but I'm very leery of him. Don't forget, the Jets are atrocious. So that's part of why BTJ looks so good to where Myers, that had been something we've seen no matter who they were playing the last month.
Yep. With Marvin Harrison Jr. coming back, would you plug him in?
I mean, he did see double-digit targets the last game he played with Jacoby Brissett. And he actually had, I think, 2 of his best fantasy games as well in the last 2 games before. So depending on what your options are, I would not, let's put it this way, I would not rule it out because again, Arizona's going to be down. They're going to be throwing it a ton. But I would just need to know more before I'd say yes, definitely.
Week 17 against Cincinnati, I'll start him. I don't think I like it this week though. Up against
who are they playing this week?
Atlanta.
We're not very good though.
I know, but that leads me to believe that it'll turn into a run heavy script sometime at some point during the game. I don't know. All right, here's the last one, and we're going to get you guys out of here for the game. RT302, and I'm not reading the rest of those numbers. That is way too freaking long. You going Colby, Parkinson, or Tyler Warren rest of the season?
Parkinson.
Absolutely Parkinson.
The Adams injury, obviously Rivers playing. I thought they were going to have a lot of creative stuff for Tyler Warren. I was wrong. They didn't.
So was I.
Because he is the kind of tight end that I think that you can, like what I was saying with Rashee Rice, you can throw most of the balls at or near the line of scrimmage, and he has the ability to turn into big plays, but they didn't do any of that. So I think that their plan, as you could tell, is just we're going to just pound Jonathan Taylor and try to, out-grind teams to victories.
Which they're not going to be able to do. Yeah. Maybe we see some more scheming for him this week now that Phillip Rivers has got a full week under his belt.
That's fair
game
too.
under his belt.
That's a good point.
But I still, even if they do, I just don't know how effective it's going to be. This offense is dead for fantasy outside of Jonathan Taylor. And that's just kind of the long, short sadness of it, I suppose. All right, folks. Well, thanks so much for everybody who tuned in. If you've listened to the audio version all season, if you've watched us on YouTube, we cannot tell you how much we appreciate it. Kind of sad this is our last
Check
one.
me out on Bob Harris tonight.
Yeah. Keith is going to be on
Football
Sirius XM channel 87 at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, guys. So make sure you go check him out. Hopefully I'll be on later in the week. Still to be determined, but looking for a Thursday spot if you're watching, Bob.
There you go.
Just saying, you know.
Hey.
And we're going to have Bob come around for our final episode of The Vibes on Friday for week 18.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a pleasant
The man,
surprise.
the myth, the legend. I know. Well, I tried to get him to co-host with you as a surprise one of the weeks that I couldn't make it, but he couldn't do it. But he said he'd do week 18 with us. So we'll have Bob Harris here so you guys can look forward to that. We are not going to be here next week. Like I said, it's Christmas. Most of our content's going to be slowing down here, guys. So just prepare for that. Roll with the teams you've got. Trust yourselves. You can win. You've gotten yourself this far. You need us, but you don't need us right now. But if you do, make sure you check us out on Discord, guys. The link is in the show description. We'll be happy to answer all of your questions there. For the last time in 2025, thanks, guys, for tuning in. I'm Nate Polvogt for Keith Flemming. Good luck in those championships. Go win some damn money, and we'll see you on Friday.